Howdy. I'm going to do a little review on my installation of the Victron Orion-Tr Smart 1224-15 non-isolated DC to DC charger. And what that means is it takes 12 volts from the starter battery, steps it up to 24 volts because I'm running a 24 volt system in the cabin area, and it will go up to 15 amps of power that it puts into the lithium batteries. And it has a maximum power rating. The 15 amps will give you 360 watts maximum. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's start at the beginning. Okay, so let's start with the engine. I ran an additional line, and this is all wiring per the instructions from Victron for the unit. I ran an additional line from the back of the alternator, the positive control. The red wire you see is the original one. Well, just above it in the wire loom, probably a little cleaner wire loom, is a new connection that goes right onto that same positive output, and I'm using 6 gauge wire there, so that comes on over. And that line comes up here, runs down along the side of the battery, and is attached into this fuse block. Now, right on this side here, the line from the alternator and line that's going into the unit, those are both intertwined there and attached. And then off the other side of the fuse block is a line that comes up to the positive on the battery, and there's a 60 amp fuse in here, mini ALN. What I did need to do, just to make things easier, and anytime you're attaching anything to these side post batteries, it's the way to go, is you can buy these terminal extenders. So it replaces the standard bolt that's on the side terminal battery, and it will attach the cable to the battery, but then it has an extension out here that's threaded, and you can attach any accessories or lines to the post easily, and it just bolts on the outside there. So you see there's the connection right there. Okay, so you fuse the connection between the battery and the wire from the alternator and to the interior. So then I also ran a new lead from the negative on inside to the unit too. So those come up. This is a positive and a negative coming around, through here. And then, just as kind of a redundancy, I put a 60 amp circuit breaker in. But the nice thing about this is you can also use it as a switch. If you need to cut power, make sure that the power is off for some reason. All right, so that works that way too. Comes on in, goes through the firewall down in there, and that's come. Okay, so what I've done is taken the easy way. I brought the positive and negative cables through the firewall, and they're encased in this wire loom to protect them. And I just ran them down. I don't use this area up here. I don't usually put my foot up there. It usually sits down here. And so I just ran the lines along the, I ran the lines along the door well, and they come up here and right up here, and then what happens is, let's see if I can get this is kind of close working here. The negative comes out and goes around to the back of the bulkhead, the metal bulkhead, where I have my ground bus bar located, and everything within the cabin battery system and all the equipment is connected into that bus bar. So now the lead, the negative lead from the engine, comes out and goes into that bus bar, and then I brought a lead off the bus bar and brought it up here to the ground connection of the Victron charger. Now this is non-isolated, so what that means is the ground is shared by the starter battery, the the engine, the chassis, and now it's also connected to my house batteries, which are right here. Whoops, the house batteries. There's one here and there's one over on the other side behind the seat, and there's one ground now for the whole van. All right, and then the positive comes in from the engine, and that goes into the in connection, and then the charger steps the current up to 24 volts and it sends it out to the batteries, but it's going through a 30 amp circuit breaker that I have here, which also can work as a switch. And then I also have the redundancy of a 30 amp mini ALN fuse in the block there, and then from there it goes over and is connected to the battery. Almost forgot to mention, see that little green block on the bottom of the charger? You get that with a little jumper wire that connects the two sides of that, and let me try to get under here and show it to you if I can. See, it's got two wires attached. Now you can either use it as just a jumper, or in my case what I did, I connected it to a small switch, and this way I've even got it labeled DC to DC, just so if my mind goes I remember what it was. But this switch now controls the charger, so if I turn this switch off, the charger is not going to work at all. It's not going to start up, it won't do anything. But if I turn it this way, now it's got power, and it has an auto sensing feature. It will sense when the engine is running, and after a short delay after the engine starts, it will then start up its charging. Okay, almost forgot that one. And then another thing that is integral to this system is this cooling fan, and this is an AC Infinity brand blower fan. So it sucks air in on the open side here and blows it out up this direction, blows it upwards, how I have it situated. And that's important because the Victron unit has large heat dissipation fins, and those reportedly get quite hot whenever the unit's working. But from everybody that I've read that has done reviews on it, if you put a cooling fan on the unit, it will work well. And here, I'll turn the fan on. This little fan runs off a USB connection, just a regular 5-volt connection. It's very low power consumption. I believe it's less than 1/4 of a watt, and right now it's on high and you can barely hear it. It's got 3 speeds, and it's blowing the air upwards right here now. So it's blowing them right on the cooling fins, and then it comes out the top here, which is great. Works well. And that's switches right over there on the other side of my battery balancer. So that's the whole system there. And I will put a couple of screenshots on of the Victron app. Oh, and something I wanted to tell you about this. Why do you need this? Why do you want this? This takes the DC power, in this case 12 volts from the starter battery, and since I'm running a 24 volt system, it steps it up to 24 volts, and it's Bluetooth enabled, so you can go into the Victron app and set the adjust the settings on the charger for the specific battery that you have. In my case, it's lithium iron phosphate batteries, so this sets the correct charge profile for them. And why is this important? It's important in a couple ways. One, for your starter battery, it protects your starter battery and your alternator because it doesn't overdraw on those and like heat up the alternator, work it too hard. And then it takes the power and regulates it into your batteries so that your batteries are getting correct charge profile. And that's important, especially for lithium batteries. You've got a huge investment in them, and you want to protect them, make them last as long as you can. And that's what this unit does. It's the charger. In my case, it's also a step-up charger from 12 to 24 volts, and it's protecting my batteries and the alternator and starter battery. So I think it's a good deal. The unit itself, without the wiring and accessories, is a little over $200. But if you're going to want to charge your batteries from your alternator, this is the way to go. I think it is. Victron's a very good brand. It has great reliability, and I haven't heard anybody speak badly of it. Okay, so that's it. I hope that was informative or helped. If you have any questions, put them down below. I'll try to answer them if I can. But that's it. The Orion-Tr Smart 1224-15 non-isolated DC to DC charger. Get one today. All right. Hey, take good care. We will talk to you later.